I find the state opening of Parliament is full of so many historical and interesting etymological oddities. The word Guy, for example, which has its origins in Guy Fawkes, the notorious figure in British history who tried to burn down Parliament, who was involved in the gunpowder plot, who was caught red-handed, literally, in 1605 in the cellars with a plan to assassinate King James I. An assassination is very much in our minds at the moment with the attempted assassination on Trump and huge security covering London today for the state opening of Parliament. Guy Fawkes was discovered guarding the explosives and subsequently arrested, tried, executed. He jumped from the block to try and strangle himself to stop the process of being hanged, drawn and quartered. Following this event, the term Guy initially referred specifically to effigies of Guy Fawkes that were paraded and burned by law. You had to have a bonfire during the annual Guy Fawkes night on November the 5th. Over time, the meaning broadened. So the name Guy was the Norman French version of Guido, and then it became a reference to a person who was grotesque, particularly with reference to their costume. And but by the 19th century, particularly in the United States, the word guy came to denote a man or a fellow in a more general sense, and then it broadened to become gender non-specific. In American English, particularly in informal contexts, anybody can be a guy, a man or a woman. The tradition of searching the cellars of Westminster, the Palace of Westminster, dates back to the gunpowder plot. And before the state opening of Parliament this morning, the yeomen of the guard inspected the cellars in a sort of procession. They didn't actually go down to the real cellars. They would have found lots of wiring and oddness. To prevent any potential threat, it's a continuing a practice which has been in place for centuries, and the ritual underscores the historical significance and the enduring legacy of the gunpowder plot. And in contemporary ceremonies today, for example, the yeomen of the guard form a guard of honour for the sovereign during the procession itself to the state opening of Parliament, and the event symbolises the constitution and the ceremonial roles of the monarchy and the government, reflecting a deep-seated historical tradition. And as I'm speaking now, the crown and the cap of maintenance has just arrived at Westminster, at the Palace of Westminster, and that comes before the parade of the King from Buckingham Palace to the Palace of Westminster, and then the robing in the robing room and the procession through to the House of Lords, where he will read the speech from the throne.